5 signs your senior travel plans hide dangerous risks. Must know before you go. Have you ever felt unsure about traveling now that you're older? Worried that age might be creating hidden challenges you haven't even thought about? If so, you're not alone. Many seniors feel torn between their desire to explore new places and the realities of health concerns, financial limitations, or simply not wanting to burden themselves with too much stress. Yet travel can still be one of the most rewarding experiences in later life. It just requires a bit more forethought and awareness. In today's discussion, we're going to uncover 5 specific signs that your senior travel plans could be hiding some pretty serious risks. Whether it's an overlooked medical condition, a potential scam, or just a matter of taking on more than your body can handle, we'll delve into each warning sign and provide practical solutions. By the end of this, you'll have a clearer sense of what to watch out for, and you'll also know how to prepare so you can continue exploring the world with confidence. These stories and tips draw from real senior experiences, so if you find yourself nodding along, that's a sure sign you're in the right place. Feel free to share your own thoughts in the comments below, and if at any point you think, yes, I agree with this, then go ahead and comment too. It's a simple way for our community to know how many of you relate to these concerns. Remember, the goal isn't to scare you away from traveling, it's to inform and empower you. Aging doesn't mean you have to stay home, but it does mean you need to be proactive about your well-being. With that in mind, let's dive into the first sign that might indicate your senior travel plans hide dangerous risks. Sign 1. You haven't had a thorough health checkup or considered pre-existing conditions. Have you ever thought, I feel fine, I'll be okay when packing your bags for a trip? It's easy to overlook the reality that our bodies change more than we realize over time, and what was once a minor inconvenience in our 50s or 60s can become a major issue in our 70s. Heart disease, high blood pressure, or a tendency toward blood clots can turn a peaceful flight or a leisurely train ride into something much more serious. If you haven't had a thorough health checkup lately, or if you're ignoring known medical conditions while planning to trek across Europe, you might be setting yourself up for trouble. Consider Mr. Jameson, a 71-year-old retiree who had always been active. He decided to fly from Florida to California to see his grandchildren, a trip he'd done many times before. A few days before the flight, his doctor cautioned him about an elevated risk of deep vein thrombosis due to reduced mobility and his newly discovered heart rhythm irregularities. Mr. Jameson assumed it wouldn't be an issue. He'd flown dozens of times without a problem. On the plane, however, he found himself short of breath and unusually lightheaded. By the time they landed, he was rushed to the ER, where doctors diagnosed him with a pulmonary embolism. Had he taken his doctor's advice and worn compression socks, or broken the trip into shorter flights, or even just stretched his legs more often, he could have significantly lowered his risk. Medical surprises aren't something any of us look forward to, especially not while traveling. That's why it's crucial to consult your doctor before making big plans. Ask about any updated restrictions, necessary medications, or specialized equipment like portable oxygen or mobility aids. Make sure you have adequate travel insurance that covers medical emergencies. Standard Medicare often has limited coverage outside the United States, and some private plans won't protect you if you're traveling abroad. Here's how you can stay safe. Schedule a checkup at least a month before your departure. Discuss all possible risks, and consider shorter trips if your doctor advises caution. Being informed about your physical condition is a form of self-care and ultimately ensures a safer, more enjoyable journey. Moving on to our next point, there's another sign that your senior travel might come with hidden dangers, and it has nothing to do with your health. Let's talk about finances. Sign 2, you've fallen for too good to be true travel deals or haven't budgeted properly. Imagine scrolling through the internet and stumbling upon a luxurious 2-week Caribbean cruise for half the usual price. It seems like a dream come true. You click, book now, excitedly pay the deposit and start planning your wardrobe. Only later you discover that this incredible deal was a scam. Or perhaps The trip is real, but the hidden fees and excursions cost twice as much as you expected. If you aren't careful with financial details, you might face serious pitfalls. Seniors, unfortunately, are often targeted by scammers who assume you might be less tech-savvy or more trusting. There's a woman named Eleanor, a 74-year-old widow who had always dreamed of seeing Alaska's glaciers by cruise ship. She found an online offer that promised a lavish suite and shore excursions for an unbelievably low rate. Overjoyed, she booked immediately. However, once she arrived at the port, she was told her reservation didn't exist, and the company that sold her the ticket was nowhere to be found. She ended up paying almost double for a last-minute replacement cabin just to salvage some part of her dream vacation. The emotional and financial stress overshadowed what should have been a once-in-a-lifetime trip. Budgeting challenges aren't limited to scams. Even legitimate trips can hide additional costs like transportation from airports to hotels, baggage fees, meal expenses, or emergency medical bills. If you're traveling on a fixed income, or if you simply don't want to spend your retirement funds frivolously, it's essential to do your research. Check reputable travel websites, read reviews, and compare prices to see what makes sense. Don't rely on a single advertisement. Always make sure there's a solid cancellation policy, and consider travel insurance that includes trip interruption coverage. That way, if you need to cancel or reschedule for health reasons, you won't lose all your money. Here's how you can stay safe. Treat overly cheap deals with caution, read the fine print, and try to book through reputable agencies or websites. Taking the time to verify your trip details isn't just about saving money, it's about saving yourself from a world of headaches and heartache. Comment below if you've ever felt suspicious about a too-good-to-be-true offer. Now, let's talk about the third sign, one that often catches seniors off guard once they've actually embarked on their journey. Sign 3. You're underestimating how physically and mentally demanding travel can be. Have you ever heard the phrase, vacation from your vacation? It's common enough for all ages, but seniors can feel travel fatigue even more intensely. Whether you're hauling luggage across a busy airport or trying to navigate foreign streets, the physical strain can be overwhelming if you're not prepared. Jet lag, altitude changes, different climates, all can contribute to exhaustion, and when you're worn out, you're more prone to accidents or illnesses. Take the case of Martha and Dawn, both in their early 70s, who decided to see 5 European countries in 10 days. They believed they had the stamina for it. After all, they still walked for exercise in their Florida neighborhood. But the reality of early wake-up calls, long lines at attractions, and constant moving from hotel to hotel wore them down. By day 4, Dawn developed painful swelling in his knees, and Martha was so fatigued she found herself nodding off on bus rides. The couple ended up missing several activities they'd paid for because they just couldn't keep going at the scheduled pace. Martha felt defeated. She admitted later that she wished they had planned a slower, more relaxed itinerary. If you realize you're underestimating the challenges of travel, don't despair. It simply means you might need to tweak your approach. Opt for fewer destinations but spend more time in each place, allowing yourself to rest between outings. Consider direct flights whenever possible, even if they cost a bit more. Pack light to reduce the strain on your back and joints. Look into senior-friendly tours that offer more breaks or use smaller groups. These adjustments can mean the difference between an exhausting, painful trip and a fulfilling one. Another excellent tip is to stay hydrated and maintain a regular meal schedule. It might sound basic, but dehydration and poor nutrition can intensify fatigue and weaken your immune system. Always listen to your body's signals. Acknowledge when you need downtime, and remember that slowing the pace can actually allow for deeper appreciation of the culture and sights around you. Moving on to our fourth sign, we have something that might sound obvious but often goes overlooked until it's too late. Sign 4. You've ignored mobility limitations or not accounted for potential injuries. Slips and falls can happen to anyone, at any age, but seniors are more vulnerable due to changes in balance, weaker bones, or slower reflexes. If your travel plans include hilly terrain, slippery cruise decks, or cities known for uneven cobblestones, you must be honest with yourself about the risks. An injury abroad doesn't just ruin a trip, It can lead to long recoveries and high medical costs if you're away from your regular healthcare providers. Linda, a 75-year-old woman from Texas, learned this the hard way on a group tour to Italy. She'd always dreamed of climbing the Spanish Steps in Rome, but she hadn't accounted for how uneven and worn they might be. Rushing to keep up with her group, excited by the sights, Linda misstepped, tumbled forward, and fractured her wrist. She spent most of the tour's remainder in a local hospital, struggling to communicate with doctors who didn't speak much English. The trip insurance covered some expenses, but the emotional and physical toll left Linda hesitant to travel internationally again. She later confessed that she had never used the walking cane her doctor recommended, feeling embarrassed about appearing frail. If you notice that your travel plans demand more mobility than you realistically have, consider choosing destinations with better accessibility. Many cities and countries now provide ramps, elevators, and senior-friendly accommodations, but it takes research to find them. You might also need to invest in proper footwear. Think sturdy soles with good traction, not flimsy sandals. And never feel ashamed about using canes or walkers if they keep you stable. If you're part of a tour group, ask the organizer about activity levels. Some tours are labeled active, meaning you could be walking multiple miles a day. Here's how you can stay safe. Slow down, wear supportive shoes, and communicate with your travel companions or tour guides about your limitations. A small adjustment in your itinerary could prevent a major injury. Now we're at the fifth and final sign. This one often goes unnoticed until that first sneeze or stomach cramp hits you in the middle of your journey. Sign 5. You haven't prepared for common illnesses or considered your immune system. Catching a cold at home is inconvenient. Catching a cold or something worse while traveling can derail your entire trip. Seniors often have weaker immune systems, making them more susceptible to viruses, bacterial infections, or digestive issues from unfamiliar foods. Airports, cruise ships, and tourist hotspots are teeming with germs from all over the world. If you're not vigilant about hygiene or mindful of local health conditions, you could end up with a serious infection. George, a 78-year-old cruise enthusiast, found himself quarantined in his cabin for half his journey thanks to a norovirus outbreak on board. He had always considered himself healthy, but neglected to realize how easily illnesses can spread in crowded environments. He admitted afterward that he rarely washed his hands before meals and hadn't brought any over-the-counter remedies. What started as a minor stomach bug turned into days of fever and dehydration. The cost of onboard medical care and missed shore excursions left him frustrated and drained. Here's how you can stay safe. First, talk to your doctor about relevant vaccinations or boosters such as flu, pneumonia, or COVID-19, depending on current guidelines. Also check if you need specific travel vaccinations for your destination. Make a list of essential medications, including those for diarrhea, colds, pain relief, and allergy relief. Pack hand sanitizer and use it frequently. If you're traveling to a region with questionable water quality, stick to bottled water. And be cautious with raw foods like salads or fruits you can't peel. If you do start feeling ill, don't dismiss it as just a minor nuisance. Contact a local pharmacy or, if necessary, seek medical attention immediately. Better to address it early than to power through and risk serious complications. We've just covered 5 major signs that your senior travel plans might be hiding dangerous risks, from unacknowledged health conditions to ignoring your immune system's needs. Now let's summarize what we've learned and talk about how to use this information in a positive, proactive way. Recognizing the risks, embracing the rewards. Travel can be one of the most exhilarating, enlightening experiences at any age. The beauty of retirement often lies in having more time to see the world, to visit family, or to tick off those bucket list destinations you've dreamed about. However, if you notice any of the 5 signs we discussed, lack of thorough medical preparation, falling prey to financial scams, underestimating the physical demands, ignoring mobility limitations, or dismissing the risk of illness, it's time to step back and reassess. Doing so doesn't mean giving up on travel. It simply means making it safer and more aligned with your reality. Here's how you can stay safe overall. Consult your doctor and get a realistic health assessment. Look into comprehensive travel insurance that covers medical emergencies and trip cancellations. Schedule a feasible, not overly ambitious itinerary with built-in rest days. Invest in mobility aids if you need them, and research accessible destinations. Practice good hygiene and pack essential medications to shield yourself from common illnesses. In essence, respect what your body can handle while also allowing yourself the joy of new sights and experiences. At the end of the day, it's about enhancing your quality of life, not limiting it. If you walk away from this discussion feeling more informed, more aware of the potential pitfalls, you're already in a better position than you were before. And if you've encountered any of these warning signs in your past travels or have advice for fellow seniors, please share your experience in the comments. You never know, your story might be exactly what another person needs to hear to avoid a costly mistake or a dangerous mishap. If you found these tips helpful, feel free to like this video or subscribe to our channel for more senior-focused travel insights. Your support helps us create more content that fosters a strong community dedicated to living life to the fullest, safely and wisely. Travel shouldn't be something you fear, it should be something you embrace, with the right preparations in place. Wishing you all the best on your next journey. May it be filled with wonder, comfort, and cherished memories. Thank you for spending your time here. I hope you leave feeling motivated and better equipped to spot and address these hidden travel risks. Remember, a little caution goes a long way. Stay alert, stay safe, and until next time, happy travels.